Hey Brick fans, welcome back to the Brick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob and today it's time to put in some boats in my Lego city. In my last city update, I told you folks that I would probably be working on a lighthouse next for my harbor. I have since changed my mind just a bit because I think I would like to put in some boats first. The thing is, I saw a picture on Instagram from an account that's called Between Brick Walls, and they had this wonderful picture of a nice little boat or ship lying outside a museum, and I really liked that. I was very inspired by that, and I want to put in a couple of boats that are inspired by that in my harbor area before I move on to the lighthouse. So I encourage you to check out that Instagram account. It's called Between Brick Walls. Great account, and they do great stuff with interior and exterior of Lego houses and such. But let's head over to Bakersville and I'll tell you more about today's project. Just before I move on to today's project, I would like to mention that I had a lot of great suggestions for the Bit Computer Store from all kinds of wonderful people over on my website. That's www.brickbakery.fun, where you can get the full Brick Bakery experience. I had a great suggestion on how to do the storefront in a better way from someone called Welcome to Euphoria, and he actually was so kind as to send me instructions on how to do this. And when I return to doing the interior to this little shop, I will of course try out and see if I can actually change the exterior just a bit, because he was very smart at getting everything lined up in a proper way. Besides that, there was also a suggestion to change the colors of the sign. Now, I do agree that lime green, yellow and orange might look good, but personally I do like this sort of basic color look of this sign, so I don't think I'll be changing this, but I do like the suggestion, and I have to admit that I was thinking about the orange, lime and yellow combination for this, but I ended up with this and I think I'm gonna stick to it. Today's project is going to be all about this very area right here. This is the harbor area that I have been building over the last few city updates. And as you can see, there's only a dinghy in the harbor at this moment, and that is something I would like to change. I think it would be good if there was a couple of ships lying right here in the foreground with some tall masts and some sails. That would really add a great ambience to this little harbor city that Bakersville has become. And I think it's also going to give some great photo opportunities when you can see the sails coming up behind this cliff right here, which is still the pride and joy of my harbor. So boats is the name of the game for today's project, and let's head over to the build table and get going with these boats. The most important pieces of today's project is going to be these. I think I will refer to these as boat hull pieces or just boat pieces. I think that's what we called them as kids. I don't know. I remember stuff like these being a part of planes as well, and they make a great little boat hull for smaller boats. I think I will be doing something that is a little longer than just this, but other than that, I think this is pretty much going to be the hull, and I'm going to build on top of this to create the look of a small boat. But first off, I'm going to find, I think, 4 to 6 pieces of these to make the boats that will go in my Lego city. Now, the one I saw on Between Brick Walls was mainly brown, and I could of course do something in brown, maybe something like this, but I'm not sure that is what I think will look the best in my Lego city. I am considering doing a yellow one like this right here. I think maybe that would be good, except for the fact that this of course won't look too good, so I'll have to do it like this, which I think could work. Yeah, I think this one, a yellow one, would look great in my Lego city. Just got to find out how to do some kind of interior. There's going to be a mast and maybe a small, I don't know if you call that a cabin or something, and of course something for steering at one end. And of course, while looking for this, I realized there's actually two versions of this piece. There's one that's a little more rounded here, and then we have something that is a little more squarish, triangular like this. And as far as it's possible, I think I'm going to go for these more rounded pieces because they look more sleek and really have a great look to them, I think. And the one here, the white one, I hope is going to be a bit bigger than the yellow one. So I think we'll go this long for this one. That's gonna be quite a boat, I think. Yeah, so I think a yellow one and a white one. I'll keep the brown one in reserve if I get some ideas for this. But I don't want to copy between brick walls straight up, but I am inspired by them. So getting the brown was just to see where we're coming from. So I'll be continuing this work on these two right here. So here we go. This is definitely a step in the right direction. This is looking very, very boaty, I think. This red stripe is gonna look great at the end, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so now I just need to move on to maybe creating a cabin, maybe a small area for steering or something. I'm a bit worried that this might not look like it is in minifigure scale as such, but I hope it will look all right once I'm done. At least I am a 90s kid, and this would constitute minifigure scale way back then. So yeah, I'll move on from this and we'll see where we end up. So here we go. This is sort of my first iteration of a cabin. I haven't, of course, finished it at all, but I am wondering if I think this looks particularly good. I think maybe I need to add another layer here, or two actually, to get it up in a decent height, because this is seeming maybe a little too clunky right now. I don't know, and I would like to have a mast and some sails, and that's going to be pretty difficult if it looks like this. Then maybe not have this window right here and just have a plate, move it back a bit, like, oops, like this. And then we can have a mast right here. Yeah, I think adding a layer would be the first way to go. So adding a white layer here and then adding this, and then we can maybe try to put in the mast. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I think this is looking much better already. I think I'll be adding in this, and as I talked about, just put it back just a little, and yeah, and have the mast over here. I think this will look good, and maybe a red stripe up here as well, just to give it a little more detail. Yeah, I think we'll try that. You may be noticing that I'm going a bit backwards now, but that's because I just realized that I wanted to add some of these pieces right here. These are modified 1x2s with a small hinge thing that you can snap things on, and that's because I would love to add some small pontoons or pontoon things on each side of this, which protects the boat from crashing into the pier when it's docked. So I think that will look very, very nice. And of course I need somewhere to attach that. And already we're getting some more detail here. That looks great. Yeah, so this is definitely the way I want to go with this. And I'll be designing those pontoons right away. Just give me a second. So you might be wondering, why have I chosen different shades of blue? But that's because when I was a kid, I remember these being different shades of blue, because I imagined they were actually just one color, but because some of them, you know, would disappear from time to time and they would change. One would be more sun bleached than the others, and you would get this many shades of blue look. And yeah, so that's why I've chosen to do it like this, and I already think we're on the right track here. This is looking very much like something I would want to put in my city. Now on we go to the small cabin, and I'm also thinking about a little more details to put on as well. So here we go, the cabin is taking shape, I think. I managed to find one of these small windows right here, and I really think that added a lot to this one. Of course, I'll be adding in some sides here, and the roof needs to go on as well. And I think we'll be just about ready to try to tackle the mast as well. Of course, that'll be in front of this window, but I think it looks too good with this window right here to actually not have it. So I'll leave this here, even though the mast will probably be in the way. So yeah, on we go. All right, so you might be wondering, what are these for? And that's of course for the lanterns. I believe that right is green, starboard, I think that is. Don't count on me to be right about that, but here we go, these two. So we have a green light on one side, a red light on the other, which is something, I believe that is something that all boats should have. I believe that's a law in the Nordic world to some degree, but I'm actually not sure about that, but I think it would make sense to me, kind of like this. Yeah, that looks good, I think. Very nice, very nice indeed. Moving on to the mast. Now I know very little about boat architecture, but I feel that this looks proportionate. Now I would love there to be a mast that's going this way over here, so I can maybe do something with some sails in some way. I would like to add a string from the front over the top of the mast and to the end, just to give it that little detail, which I think looks very nice, which is something I was inspired by Between Brick Walls version to do as well. But I'm just wondering how to do that mast that goes this way as well. Of course, there are headlight pieces and snot bricks. Yeah, I think that's going to be the solution for now. Okay, I'm starting to wonder if there's too much white on white in this. Then again, there isn't too much white in my harbor, so I don't think that will be a problem. I do have a thought about how I want to do the sails down here, but I am wondering how to attach it. What I did here was add a headlight brick because that one is solid. A snot brick because that one is solid. Had I used a headlight brick like this, it would have been hollow and there would have been a hole there that I would have to cover in some way. And I thought that was not the way I wanted to go. So yeah, here we got at least the mast. I think if we add this up here, we have something to hold the, this is a small hook. We have something to hold the string up top. Maybe we should also add one of those there, but I don't think so. Depends a bit on how long I'm gonna make it. Anyway, except for the white on white, I actually think this looks kind of good. There are some details that need to be figured out right here, and of course I still need to add some kind of steering right here on the back in some way, and of course there needs to be I don't know if there's actually room for a minifigure, but I think I have sort of the illusion of room for a minifigure, and to some extent that's fine for me. I think the scale is all right. yeah, I will continue work on this, trying to finish up this over here, and also try to do something with the sail, which I have an idea for. So here we go. This is the sail as I see it right now. You can see it's been sort of packed here. It's wrapped up because it's in the harbor still. And of course, when it goes out on the sea, you would see it being raised up here. Now, I don't know if there's something about the... Maybe there's something about the proportions right now that's not too good. If you have any suggestions, I don't know, if let me know if you think this is some kind of, yeah, this, if you think there's some kind of problem with the proportions to this, please let me know in the comments on my website www.brickbakery.fun, and I would love to hear it, because I'm not sure this works 100%, but I do like the look of this. So maybe you have some kind of idea of how I could solve this, or maybe just have an idea of how I could just make this boat better in general. But for now, this is what I'm gonna go with. And yeah, I think I'll try to finish this here, and then I think I'll try to add the string I was talking about, just to see how it looks. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I think it's safe to conclude that the string is gonna look great, but the solution I've come up with here isn't looking too good, I'd say. So I think I'm gonna do something else here. As you can see, I've also added a small tip here, because that really adds a nice little detail. I don't know if this here is too barren, maybe too sturdy, if you know what I mean. No, I think I'll leave it like this for now, but this here I will definitely do something with. It's too much of a piece of candy right now, or a piece of cake maybe. I think I want something that's a little more uniform in color than this. Yeah, I'll try to switch this around, and I think we can say that we are about done with this one. This, I think, is much better, much more calm, and much more, you know, streamlined down by this end. Very nice, I think. But when I was doing this, I was actually thinking about how about putting sort of an outboard motor here on the end. I think that would sort of give it a little extra detail, which would look pretty cool, I think. Maybe just one of these, use a jumper plate and put it in the middle. Yeah, I think I'll try that, and that would also give a good anchoring point for the rest of the string. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do now. So there we go. This is the small outboard motor that I have designed. Just one of these handlebar things, and a small one of these right here, just to act as a propeller that can of course drive the boat when it is not doing it by sails. So of course this is a sailing boat most of the time, but when you got to get in and out of the harbor, it would be nice to do it by motor. So yeah, that is how this one really comes together. I think this turned out pretty nicely. I have never ever built a boat before like this, so this being my first shot, I think I am pretty satisfied. Of course, I would love to hear your suggestions and such, and I've still got one boat to go, so maybe things will change quite a bit before I am done boating for now. But let's get on with the yellow one. I was wondering what to do with this boat, and partly I wanted to do something that was quite different from the one I just did, and partly I don't have too many yellow pieces, I just realized. So I was thinking, maybe I could do something simple, which would be a gondola, like the ones you see in Venice going up and down the channels. And yeah, then you just need a guy with a big stick at the back, you know, sailing tourists along, or maybe a couple on a honeymoon trip thing, you know, love ride, something like that. Maybe that would be good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do that. I've already sort of approached that look by using these here. Of course, I think traditionally a gondola would be black, but I think in Bakersville we could go with a yellow gondola. Yeah, I'll work on this and see where it takes us. Alright, so this is where I'm at right now. I've made a couple of ends here that are very similar. I believe a gondola would have a front that was longer than the back. I don't remember. I haven't really seen a picture of one of those in a long time. I was in Venice at one point, but remembering all that would be something I can't. But I'm putting a couple of seats as well. Of course, the gondolier, I believe it's called, is going to stand right here, and having a long oar or stick that he can sort of push the boat along to. And of course, the persons he's taking around the canals, the channels, is going to sit or stand right here. So that's going to be very, very cozy. I don't know how much more I can actually add to this, because it's very easy to do too much, as it were, and I'm wondering how well it will fit into Bakersville. But whatever, I think it's a good idea. I do like the idea, to be honest. But we'll see how this goes. I think I'll be adding in some minifigures to this one, just to get the message across a little more clearly. And there we go, our little gondola with a gondolier here at the back with his stick pushing along the gondola, and a loving couple sitting here on a lovely romantic trip. He's probably singing something. I'll let you sing, and we can imagine that it is him who sings. So that's the gondola, and of course I have also put together a small captain for our other boat, and of course I found a life preserver for him as well. This torso is unfortunately, is it a little faded maybe? Well, it doesn't matter too much, because I'm gonna put on the life preserver, I hope so, tight, put on the life preserver just like this, and we will be golden. He is ready to get on board on his little boat. So let's head over to Bakersville and see how everything has turned out. This is Bakersville with the two new boats. Let's put in this sea captain right here. He's standing ready at his boat, maybe ready to take on a passenger or two. And I am fast realizing the sort of scale issues right here. The gondola is definitely meant to look smaller than this sailboat over here, but I think the size, it's almost identical in size. But I don't know, I think there is a certain degree of freedom in the sort of minifigure scale. I don't think there is such a thing as minifigure scale, to be honest, but you can hit it more or less well, even so. And to be honest, I'm not sure I've done too good a job on this one. However, I do like the look of the sailboat over here. I do like that one. I think maybe the gondola will leave the harbor in due time, but for now I'll leave it in just to get a feel for it. Maybe you folks have some kind of suggestion on what I should do with this, or if I should change anything around with this boat over here to make it look better. I would love to hear any and all suggestions on my website, www.brickbakery.fun. Looking at it from this angle, I think it looks pretty good. I think it adds a great ambience to the city, to be honest. In that regard, I think boats are the right way to go, but again, of course, this could probably be a little better. But for now, I am pretty satisfied with the result, I've got to admit. Next time I will be continuing work on the lighthouse right here, because that is going to be right front and center of my city, so that deserves some really hard work. I already have some ideas on how I'm going to do it, but if you have any kind of suggestions, please don't hesitate to let me know on my website www.brickbakery.fun. I would love to hear any and all suggestions, because you folks are always very creative, and I receive some very creative solutions once in a while, and I would love to keep doing that. So please let me know in the comments on my website if you have any suggestions. Today I tried to build some boats for my LEGO City Harbor, and I think I would say that it went 50% well. I generally like the sailing ship, I like the mast, I like the sails I added, and I like that string. The general look is all right. It's not perfect, but it's all right. So I like that one. But there is, of course, some kind of problem with scale for that one. I don't know what it is. Maybe if I used some of the 6 wide hull pieces instead, that would look better. But I would love to hear your suggestions about that. The gondola, on the other hand, I like the look of it when it's not in the city. I like the novelty of it, and to some extent I think it hit the ambience of a gondola pretty well. But when it is put in the city, it doesn't look good. I think there's a problem with scale, and I think there's a problem with theme. Had the rest of the city been more like a Venetian city, a gondola would maybe have fit a little better. Presently it doesn't, so I think that's the problem with it, but I don't know, to be honest. So please, if you have any ideas of why this doesn't fit, and maybe some suggestions on how it could fit, please let me know in the comments on my website. Next time I'll be tackling the lighthouse, and I'm very much looking forward to that because I have some ideas for that. I hope I'll see you folks next time, but that is all for me today, and until next time, my name is Jacob and this is the Brick Bakery.